And speaking of Christmas, on Christmas night in 1996, a 6-year-old girl was murdered in Boulder, Colorado. It would be the only murder in that town in the year, and the one murder that captivated the nation. Today, it still remains unsolved. One America's Katie Seals has this report.
On Christmas night in 1996, a 6-year-old girl was murdered in Boulder, Colorado. It would be the only murder in the small town that year. That one murder captivated the nation and today remains unsolved. When JonBenet Ramsey was killed nearly 20 years ago, the media largely focused on her parents, Patsy and John Ramsey, as suspects. But now, as experts look back on the case, it appears there were just as many holes in the investigation itself as there were in the Ramsey story. Just one day after Christmas in 1996, 6-year-old JonBenet was found dead in the basement of the Ramsey's home only hours after her parents had reported her missing.
Police, what's going on 5515th Street? What's going on there, ma'am? We have a kidnapping. Hurry, please.
Police say her father, John Ramsey, found JonBenet with a nylon cord wrapped around her neck. Her wrists were tied above her head and her mouth was covered by duct tape. An autopsy revealed the girl was killed by strangulation and a skull fracture sometime before dawn. Her parents said an intruder entered their home and killed their daughter, but authorities say there was no sign of forced entry. In fact, Boulder police found other evidence that raised their suspicions about the Ramseys.
I found a ransom note. I found my daughter missing from her bedroom, and several hours later, our daughter was found dead in our home.
2 days after JonBenet's body was discovered, a battle began between the Ramseys, the Boulder police, and the media.
The police were very quickly focusing on us as the killers.
But do you think that had something to do with the fact that your daughter entered pageants?
I think the decision was made at that time, Detective Arndt didn't know JonBenet.
Former Detective Linda Arndt, who was the first officer to arrive on scene the morning JonBenet went missing, believes the Ramseys knew what happened to their daughter.
Do you think your fear was well-founded?
You bet I do. There's no doubt in my mind.
To this day?
Never wavered.
You were afraid because you thought the killer was still in the house.
I knew it.
Absolutely?
Absolutely.
3 medical experts who consulted with the Boulder Police Department said there was evidence JonBenet had been sexually assaulted. Arndt suggested the girl had been abused, possibly by a family member, for some time.
I guess the best way to say that was what was seen was not a first-time injury.
But in a shocking turn of events, in 2008, more advanced DNA technology cleared JonBenet's parents and her brother Burke of her murder. But Patsy Ramsey did not live to hear her name cleared. She died from ovarian cancer in 2006.
What it shows is that someone, not any of the Ramseys, DNA appeared in 3 places. In a blood stain on JonBenet's panties that was taken in 1997, and then this most recent in 2 other spots, the same male profile was found on the long johns where we believe the perpetrator pulled them down from JonBenet's body.
That DNA sample of an unknown male did not match any profile in the database and did not lead police to any new suspect. Now, decades later, with no new leads in the case, the Boulder police force is under fire for the handling of JonBenet's murder. Critics say the police made several crucial mistakes, beginning with Detective Arndt allowing friends and neighbors to search the house in the early hours after JonBenet went missing.
It is accurate to say that if we had it to do all over again, we would do it differently. It is also accurate to say that we responded well to what we thought we were confronted with.
Detective Arndt says despite her many calls for backup, she was the only officer on scene until 20 minutes after JonBenet's body was found.
Would it be nice if John hadn't found JonBenet? Absolutely. And would it be nice if he hadn't put a blanket? Yeah, it would be great. And it would be nice if there were other people to help control and keep people away, that would have been wonderful. But that's not the circumstances that I had available that day.
Earlier this year, Mark Beckner, the Boulder police chief from 1998 to 2014, took to an online forum to answer questions about the case. The former chief revealed he wished they had done a better job of securing the crime scene on day one, and he emphasized the importance of the DNA profile they later found, saying the suspect is the donator of that unknown DNA. No charges have ever been filed in the death of JonBenet. In 2006, a 41-year-old school teacher, John Mark Carr, falsely confessed to murdering the girl, but authorities could not find any evidence linking him to the crime. And in 2013, a grand jury found sufficient evidence to indict JonBenet's parents on child abuse charges, but a district attorney refused to sign that indictment. John Ramsey continues to maintain his innocence and defend his family. 20 years later, Boulder police say the case is still open, but is not actively being investigated. This means we may never know who killed JonBenet. Katie Seals, One American News.